8 Stoic rules to organize your life in silence. Take control of your life today. Stoicism. Most people are drowning, not in water, but in noise, in chaos, in the endless demands of a world that never stops pulling at them. They wake up tired. They go to bed anxious. They spend their days reacting to everything and controlling nothing. And yet, they wonder why their lives feel like they are falling apart. What if the answer was not louder? What if the answer was quieter? The ancient Stoics discovered something that the modern world has nearly forgotten, that real power does not announce itself. It does not post. It does not seek attention. It does not beg for approval. Real power is built in the silence. It is cultivated in the hours no one sees. It is organized in the mind before it ever appears in the world outside. Today, we are going to walk through 8 Stoic rules, timeless, battle-tested, philosophically grounded principles that will help you organize your life, silence the chaos around you, and take absolute control of your days. Not tomorrow, not when things calm down. Today. This is not a motivational speech. This is a blueprint, and it was written 2,000 years ago by men who led armies, survived exile, and governed empires, all while keeping their inner world completely calm. Are you ready? Let us begin. And before we do, if this kind of content speaks to your soul, please subscribe to this channel. Every week, we go deeper into Stoic wisdom so you can live with more clarity, more strength, and more purpose. Marcus Aurelius did not wait for the world to tell him who he was going to be that day. He decided before the day began. Every morning, before the noise started, he sat with his thoughts. He prepared his mind. He reminded himself of what mattered and what did not. This was not a ritual born of luxury, it was a discipline born of necessity. He was emperor of Rome. The demands on his time were infinite. And yet he carved out silence in the morning because he understood something most people never learn. The morning is where the day is won or lost. When you wake up and immediately check your phone, you hand your mind over to everyone else's agenda. You are now reacting. Someone else's news. Someone else's opinion. Someone else's emergency. Before you have even had a chance to breathe, your nervous system is hijacked. The Stoics called this premeditation. The discipline of preparing the mind before the day unfolds. You do not need to meditate for an hour. You do not need a perfect morning routine. You need 10 minutes of intentional silence. Ask yourself, what is mine to do today? What can I control? What will I refuse to be disturbed by? This simple act, this quiet reclaiming of your mind, is the foundation of every organized life. Not the planner, not the schedule, the silence, the decision, the ownership. Start there. Start every single day there. Epictetus was a slave. He had no freedom of movement, no ownership of property, no political power. And yet he was one of the most mentally free human beings who ever lived. How? Because he mastered the single most important distinction in all of Stoic philosophy, the difference between what is up to you and what is not. He called it the dichotomy of control. And it is devastatingly simple. Your opinions, your intentions, your responses, these are yours. The weather, other people's behavior, the economy, what others think of you, these are not yours. Mixing the two is the source of almost all human suffering. Most people live their lives trying to control everything. They exhaust themselves managing what others think. They lose sleep over outcomes they cannot determine. They sacrifice their peace trying to change things that will never respond to their effort. The result is a life that feels perpetually out of control, because it is being spent on the wrong things. When you organize your life around what is truly yours to manage, everything shifts. Your energy stops leaking, your focus sharpens, your anxiety decreases, not because life gets easier, but because you stop fighting battles that were never yours to fight. Today, write 2 lists. Everything consuming your mental energy. Then, next to each item, write 1 word, mine or not mine. Then work only on the first column. Completely surrender the second. This is not passivity. This is precision. And precision is power. There is a moment in every argument, every confrontation, every temptation to overshare, when the Stoic does something that confuses everyone around them. They go quiet, not because they have nothing to say, but because they understand that silence is often the most powerful response available. Marcus Aurelius wrote that we should be like a rocky promontory against which the waves constantly break. The waves do not stop, but the rock does not move. That immovable quality, that stillness in the face of pressure, is not weakness. It is mastery. In the modern world, silence is misunderstood. People think that if you are not talking, posting, performing, or explaining yourself, you must be losing. But the Stoics knew the opposite. Every time you over-explain, you reveal your anxiety. Every time you lash out, you expose your wounds. Every time you boast, you signal insecurity. The person who moves in silence builds something that noise cannot touch. Going cold, withdrawing your energy, your explanation, your validation seeking, is not cruelty. It is clarity. It sends a message without a single word. It communicates value. It forces others to reflect. And more importantly, it gives you back the energy you were leaking into places that did not deserve it. Use silence as a tool. Let your actions speak. Let your results do the announcing. Refuse to argue with people who are not interested in truth. Refuse to explain yourself to those who would not understand anyway. Conserve your energy. Organize your life around output, not performance. The quietest people in the room are often writing the loudest chapters. Here is something the algorithm does not want you to know. The pursuit of external validation is one of the most efficient ways to destroy your life from the inside out. When your sense of worth depends on likes, followers, praise, or approval, you become a prisoner of other people's moods. You wake up anxious. You go to bed checking. You perform instead of live. And you can never, ever get enough, because the hunger for applause has no bottom. The Stoics proposed something radically different. They said, organize your life around virtue, around becoming excellent in character, courageous, honest, disciplined, just, wise. Not because people will notice. Not because it will be rewarded, but because it is the only thing worth building. Zeno of Citium, the founder of Stoicism, taught that virtue is the only true good. Everything else, wealth, fame, beauty, status, is what the Stoics called preferred indifference. Nice to have, not necessary for a good life. The man who has virtue and nothing else is richer than the man who has everything else and no virtue. What does this mean practically? It means doing the right thing when no one is watching. It means holding your standard even on the days you are tired. It means letting your character be the foundation, not your reputation, not your image, not your performance. When you organize your life around virtue, you never have to manage a persona. You never have to remember what lie you told. You never have to calculate how you appear. You simply become, and that becoming, quiet, consistent, unhurried, is the most attractive and powerful thing a human being can do. Stop chasing applause. Start building character. The applause, if it comes, will mean something then. Seneca wrote one of the most important sentences in all of human history. He said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a great deal of it." Read that again. Let it land. We do not lack time. We leak it. We give it away to things that do not matter, to people who do not respect it, to distractions that offer nothing in return. And then we complain that we do not have enough. But the hours were always there. We simply were not organized around them. The Stoics treated time as sacred, not in a superstitious way, but in the way you treat something irreplaceable. You cannot earn more of it, you cannot borrow it. Once it is gone forever. And yet most people treat their time with less care than they treat their money, which can at least be recovered. Organizing your life in silence means guarding your time fiercely. It means saying no to things that drain without filling. It means removing yourself from conversations that cycle without progress. It means closing the tab, putting down the phone, and sitting with your actual work. Your actual purpose. Your actual life. Schedule your deep work. Protect your thinking hours. Do not attend every meeting you are invited to. Do not respond to every message immediately. Your attention is not owed to anyone who demands it. It is given only to what deserves it. Time is the currency of life. Spend it accordingly. Most people spend enormous energy trying to avoid discomfort. They rearrange their lives around ease. They choose the comfortable job, the comfortable conversation, the comfortable routine. And then they wonder why they feel unfulfilled, soft, and stuck. The Stoics did not run from difficulty. They ran toward it not because they were masochists, but because they understood that difficulty is the price of growth, and growth is the price of a meaningful life. Marcus Aurelius, governing an empire while suffering chronic illness and watching people he loved die around him, did not collapse. He wrote in his private journals, not for publication, not for posterity, that the obstacle is the way. That the thing standing in your path is not separate from your path. It is part of it. The fire that burns you is the same fire that forges you. When you organize your life around this principle, difficulty stops being something that happens to you and starts being something that happens for you. The difficult conversation you have been avoiding. It is building your courage. The project that keeps failing. It is building your resilience. The relationship that is testing your patience. It is building your wisdom. This does not mean suffering in silence forever. It means that before you retreat, before you quit, before you label something impossible, you ask, what is this teaching me? What am I becoming in this fire? The Stoic does not pray for an easy life. He prays for the strength to handle a hard one. And then he gets to work. Every evening, the Stoic philosopher Seneca would review his day with the discipline of a general reviewing a battle. He would ask himself 3 questions. Where did I go wrong today? Where did I do well? How could I have done better? Not with cruelty, not with shame, with the calm curiosity of a man who genuinely wanted to improve. This practice, daily reflection, is one of the most underrated tools of personal organization in all of history. Not journaling for therapy, not venting. reviewing, auditing, growing. Most people end their day by consuming. They watch something, scroll something, eat something. They never stop to ask what they actually did with the hours. And so the same mistakes repeat. The same patterns persist. The same year happens again and again until suddenly it is a decade and they cannot figure out where the time went. When you build a reflection practice, everything changes. You begin to see your patterns. You catch your rationalizations before they calcify into habits. You notice what is working and do more of it. You notice what is draining you and stop giving it room. You do not need to spend an hour, 10 minutes, a notebook. 3 honest questions. That is the entire practice. Where did I lose control today? Where did I act from virtue? What will I do differently tomorrow? The unexamined life, Socrates said, is not worth living. The Stoics agreed, and they built examination into every single day. This is the rule that separates the philosopher from the philosopher king. Because Marcus Aurelius did not just think about Stoicism. He ruled by it, he governed. He showed up in the arena. He made decisions under impossible pressure. He did not wait for the perfect moment. He made the moment perfect through his character. The most common form of self-sabotage in the modern world is not laziness. It is waiting. Waiting until you feel ready. Waiting until things are more stable. Waiting until you have more money, more clarity, more confidence, more time. But the Stoics knew, those conditions never come. The readiness you are waiting for is built through action, not before it. Organize your life not around what you plan to do, but around what you are actually doing. Start small. Start imperfect. Start today. The manuscript does not need to be perfect to be written. The business does not need to be perfect to be launched. The conversation does not need to be perfect to be had. Do the next right thing. Then the next. Then the next. That is the entire system. That is the Stoic path to an organized life. Not a grand plan drawn up in theory, but 1,000 small, deliberate actions taken in the real world, one day at a time. The Stoics built empires, wrote philosophy that outlasted empires, and freed themselves from slavery, not through perfect conditions but through relentless, quiet, disciplined action. You have the same capacity. You have the same 24 hours. You have Stoic wisdom that took centuries to forge, available to you right now. What are you waiting for? 8 rules, written 2,000 years ago, still as sharp and true as the day they were discovered. Because the human struggle has not changed. The noise has changed. The distractions have changed. But the battle to organize your inner world before the outer world consumes you, that battle is eternal. Silence is not emptiness. Silence is where the strongest people in history did their best work. It is where decisions are made before they are announced. Where character is built before it is displayed. Where the kind of life you actually want to live is quietly, patiently, powerfully constructed. You do not need to change everything at once. Pick one rule from today's video. Just one, and live it so completely this week that it becomes part of who you are. Then come back for the next one. The Stoics were not perfect. They were not superhuman. They were people. Broken, uncertain, tired people, who chose, day after day, to show up with intention. To live deliberately, to take control of what was theirs, to control and release what was not. That choice is yours right now. Take it, and if this video added something to your life, if it gave you a piece of wisdom you needed today, please subscribe to this channel. Every week, we go deeper into the philosophy of the greatest minds in history so that you can live with more strength, more peace, and more purpose. Hit that subscribe button. Share this with someone who needs it. Leave a comment telling me which of these 8 rules hit you the hardest. You are not here by accident. And neither is this wisdom. Go organize your life in silence. Starting today, subscribe for more Stoic wisdom that changes how you think, live, and lead.